And my question to you is, were you in a hotel room there? And were there drugs there? And were there 16-year-olds there?
Uh, yes, sir.
We are about to watch the parole revocation hearing of a man who had just recently been paroled, but within 6 months picked up 2 charges for horrendous crimes, which the DA subsequently dropped. I don't know. It's just the DAs these days. We'll unpack it with the details at the end.
Mr. Wooten, I'm going to read the charges against you, and you, at this time, just plead guilty or not guilty or guilty with a statement.
Yes,
And then come back and discuss it, okay?
yes, sir.
On 2/15/2024, you were arrested by the Wichita Parish Sheriff's Office for 2 counts of human trafficking, domestic abuse battery, child endangerment, and simple battery. How do you plead? Guilty or not? I'm sorry, let me finish. And on 6/6/2024, the 2 counts of human trafficking were declined by the 4th Judicial District Court. The Wichita District Attorney's Office changed the domestic abuse battery, child endangerment charges of battery and dating partner. On 6/13/2024, battery of the dating partner and simple battery charges were dismissed by the Wichita Attorney's Office. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or with statement?
Not guilty with a statement, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Your case is being handled today by Mr. Prater, and he is going to take the lead. Mr. Prater?
Yes, sir, Mr. Wooten. It's nice to see you.
Nice
Uh,
to meet you.
I need to talk about a couple of things. There are two. You got out on parole in June of 23, correct?
Correct, sir. Yes, sir.
And within 7 months, you'd been arrested twice
Yes, sir.
for some pretty serious charges.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of the charges, there was a lot of evidence, and of course, these charges have been dropped.
Yes,
But
sir.
the fact that the charges were dropped, not prosecuted, doesn't really mean that we have to just act like it didn't happen as a parole board. We have a responsibility to determine for ourselves.
I understand.
And my question to you is, were you in a hotel room there? And were there drugs there? And were there 16-year-olds there?
Yes, sir. I had rented the room. When I met these people, the people that I met was older. I met them at a gas station. I didn't really know them. I just met them. We became friends, and I think they was like 25, maybe 20, 22 years old, but they was with the little females. I never asked nobody their age or anything. Only time when I found that was their age is when her sister OD'd in a room, and that's when they finally told me their real age. I didn't know. I know I should have made better decisions and made better judgment and did better things a better way. And I apologize for making that mistake. I look back at this as a learning situation because I put myself in that type of situation where I could have prevented that. I should have asked more questions and I should have been more mindful of what I done. But like I say, the decisions that I made was poor judgment, and I admit to that. And yes, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate your being open
Yes,
with
sir.
admitting that you made poor decisions there. The second thing was when you got involved in a domestic abuse battery just a month after that, or a short period after that, and you'd been out for, say, 7 months,
Yes, sir.
8 months, and you get involved in a domestic violence situation, and it appears that there was quite a bit of domestic violence that occurred there. So there were boards and blood and cracked closets and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, sir.
I know you were charged with serious crime there, and then all of those charges were dropped.
Yes,
We
sir.
had pictures. I mean, what's the deal there?
Me and my girlfriend, we had a misunderstanding over bills, buying things, material things. Due to me cheating, I the situation escalated. Things got out of hand, and like I wish it never happened. It could have been avoided. I wish I would have just left and talked about the situation, but the situation got out of hand. So, like I said, there's nothing I can really say to take back the situation that occurred, but I do apologize for putting myself in that situation. A lot of these situations I could have avoided by just sitting down and talking to her. But you know, we was arguing back and forth, and kids got involved, and a lot of yelling and screaming, and it just got out of hand, sir. You know, I feel bad about this situation. You know, I talked to her on the phone today. We still talk on the phone. We have a mutual understanding. You know, I don't have no bad blood towards anybody. Everything that I did in life, I made the decision to do, and I admit that. And I'm accountable for my situation, you know, for the reason why I'm here today. So I apologize.
Yes, sir. Well, that's good. I appreciate you saying that. And it's our job to determine, you know, if the rules, you had certain rules when you got on parole, and did you violate those rules again? Because parole really is a do-over.
Yes, sir.
See if you can get it right this time. And on these
Yes,
two
sir.
occasions, a short time after you were given your do-over, you screw up. So okay, that's all the questions I got, and I hope you learned your lesson no matter what our decision today.
Yes, sir.
You know, I hope you continue to grow and learn from it.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have. I'm ready.
Mr. Prater, I apologize. I want to take care of two matters, and if you need more questions after we hear the victim is here. And if you need more questions after you hear, I'd like so. Mr. Wooden, do you have a questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
You do? You
Yes, sir.
signed, didn't want an attorney and all that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you much. We're going to hear now from one of the victim, Miss Morgan. Is she with us? We're trying to get her on the line.
I'm here.
You may speak now.
I'm really not too sure what to say. It was just a situation that just got out of control. And it shouldn't have never happened, like he was saying.
Is that it? I mean,
Yes.
okay. Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Mr. Prater. Now, would you like some more questioning before you?
Well, that didn't really add a lot of information, so no, I don't.
Ms. Stapleton?
Yeah, the victim that just spoke, are you the direct girlfriend or are you the niece or something that was there? Miss Morgan?
She's off right now.
Oh, well, you don't have to get her back if she's
I'm
off.
here.
Okay, I was just wondering, are you his girlfriend? Or are you one of the children that were there?
No, I was the girlfriend.
Oh, you're the girlfriend? Okay, and so, you know that he was charged with child endangerment also because the children got involved in this fight.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, I always tell everybody, I hope that if you want to, hope that, you know, that if you would like to, that you know that not to go to a shelter, but if you need somebody to talk to and you ever, I don't know, there's battered women's shelters and there's people there to speak to you for free and counseling, and for the children also, if they're witness to things like this. So it's just something that I'd like to say that is available to you should you ever want to take advantage of it. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying they're out there. And okay, so that's all I have to say about that. And so Back to Mr. Wooten. Mr. Wooten,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
charges seems to be indisputable, and you say too that you're accountable for your actions. The children did get involved to
Yes, ma'am.
try and help their mother because they heard about the fight, and then one was shoved, and then like Mr. Prater was saying, there was closet doors, that was broken, and then there was pictures that were taken,
Yes, ma'am.
and the pictures were taken of her bruises. So in those situations, we have indisputable proof that it happened. And then we have the human trafficking situation. And of course, that involved two 16-year-olds.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And there again, they gave a statement and the police believed it. And they were fearful of their life. And the fact that you invited strangers into a hotel room, and
Yes.
supposedly there was a lot of drugs there, and these children did test positive for a lot of different drugs at 16 years old. So we have indisputable proof also that happened. So I just want to say, I know that the charges were dropped, but as far as revocation is concerned, we have indisputable proof that it did happen. That's all I have to say.
I have no questions. Is the panel ready to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Prater,
Revoked due to criminal activity.
Ms. Stapleton,
I concur.
and my vote is I concur also. Mr. Wooten, your revocation has been revoked.
This is incredible. I mean, it's another case of the DA being weak. Now, if you want to make an argument for the DA, they often drop charges because they know that the person's getting revoked anyways. But in my opinion, this should be an exception. This guy is not just, oops, I didn't know how old they were and they ended up in my hotel room. I mean, read between the lines, or I'll read the article for you, what it is he was doing in there. I mean, to human trafficking, how do you drop those charges? All the charges were dropped, and these should be in his jacket. Okay. Look at what this is. February 16, 2024. On January 27th, the West Monroe Police Department responded to a call at a hotel on Thomas Road in reference to an overdose. Once police arrived at the scene, they located a 16-year-old female victim unresponsive inside the room. According to the court documents, authorities administered Narcan to the victim and her health improved. She had then transported to the hospital. Authorities searched the room and located the devil's lettuce, a white powdery substance, an Apple iPhone, and a used condom. Police went out to learn that the hotel room was allegedly registered to Derrick. A hotel clerk advised the authorities that Wooten entered the room and was scheduled to check out on January 28, 2024. According to authorities, they interviewed the 16-year-old victim and learned that the victim went to the room with their sister to meet Wooten. Officers were told that the victim knew Wooten to be a former sex trafficker. So maybe that's what he's in for, right? Once the sisters were in the room, the victim allegedly took narcotics and her sister allegedly left the room with Wooten. The second victim was later interviewed by authorities, and police were advised that Wooten allegedly picked the second victim up from Smith Street and drove her to the hotel room on Thomas Road. When she arrived at the hotel room, she noticed that the first victim was in the room already. Authorities learned that the second victim observed Wooten allegedly giving the first victim a Xanax pill. The second victim and Wooten then left the room to travel to Monroe, Louisiana, and return to the room. Once the second victim and Wooten were unable to enter the room, the second victim feared that her sister overdosed on narcotics that Wooten allegedly gave her. The second victim called authorities, and Wooten allegedly became angry with the second victim and allegedly grabbed the second victim by the throat, forcing the second victim to throw her phone away after she called the cops, right? Authorities were advised that Wooten was previously a boyfriend of the victim's deceased mother. Police were also told that during a separate incident, Wooten picked up the victims from a hotel room and that the victims were at the hotel with a mutual friend of Wooten. The mutual friend was a female subject who the victim knew had a pimp. The mutual friend was a female subject who the victim knew had a pimp. I mean, you just read between the lines, people. While the victims were at the hotel, they noticed that a mutual friend had a lot of male subjects visiting the room for sexual intercourse. Once Wooten arrived at the hotel, he allegedly recruited the victims to act as middlemen for him for narcotic deals and other illicit activities. According to court documents, Wooten allegedly showed the victims a large quantity of narcotics and advised them that they would be compensated for their help. During the investigation, the victims were drug tested, and the first victim tested positive for benzos, cocaine, methamphetamine, and THC. The second victim tested positive for THC, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. On February 8, 2024, the Ouachita Parish Sheriff's Office was dispatched to Town Country Apartments due to a DV. Upon arrival, deputies made contact with the victim and informed that she and her boyfriend were in an argument about infidelity, and her boyfriend has allegedly grabbed her arms. This is just another one of his offenses. During the altercation, the victim's teenage daughter intervened, and she was allegedly assaulted by her mother's boyfriend. Wooten was later identified as the victim's boyfriend. And to think that that woman came up here and to try to apologize for him, you know, I really do appreciate that Miss Stapleton tried to coax her into going into stuff, but come on, you know, when they mess with your daughter, you're really going to get up there and say that? On February 15, 2024, Wooten was arrested and transported to Ouachita Correctional Facility. He was charged with 2 counts of human trafficking, simple battery of a dating partner, and partner child endangerment, which the DA subsequently dropped all charges. And again, maybe they dropped it because they figured he'd get revoked anyways, or maybe, you know, you don't have cooperating witnesses. I get all of that, but you don't need cooperating witnesses for these things to issue charges. Things are shifting. You know, you just don't need it anymore, or like you used to. And we see charges brought many times without cooperating witnesses when they want to. I get that the DAs are super busy. You know, I hear that technically, if everyone at one time said that we're going to trial instead of taking a plea doors, the entire system would collapse over the weight of it. It would just be impossible if there was collusion with all the inmates to do that. But yeah, it's a tough place to be for them. Anyways, he's revoked. I don't know how much time he's backing, and I wonder if we'll see him come up for a parole hearing at some time in the future. But this is again, it's just part of the system, which is pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And you know, even in his speech, what's just nuts in his opening statement, if you just want to add craziness to all of this, he says, I don't have any bad feelings towards them. And it's just like, what? And you know how often we hear that? The perpetrator of these offenses say that? It's not something we hear it often. There's just something that they actually view that they're the ones that's wrong. It's crazy. Anyways, with that, I'll let you go.